Bum diggity! Hello, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and today I'm going to be doing a live review of the new tune from Flux Pavilion and Feed Me, Survive. Believe it or not, after a decade of individual excellence for both Flux Pavilion and Feed Me, a collaboration between them both as a thing up until now, it's never happened. Each of them right at the forefront in the development of modern bass music, so important in its evolution, and you think about all of the collabs that they've each done with other big hitters in the scene, and it's just mad to think that they've never crossed paths. Two absolute legends of the scene, and I think more specifically than bass music, I would say dubstep music, which is the main kind of comparison between the two, and similarity if you will, and also the main genre covered on this channel. So more than anything, I see this video as a chance to celebrate Flux Pavilion and Feed Me and the amount they've done for dubstep music. I imagine many who have gotten into dubstep quite recently through no fault of anyone and not in a bad way won't be aware of how big a part they played, but trust me when I say that these are two of the very most important figures in modern dubstep and bass overall, just no question about it. So yeah, this is special, it's an event, and what's perhaps even better is that for Survive I have no idea what to expect. I mean, their respective styles have grown so much over time and have become so diverse. It could be heavy, it could be chilled, we have a vocalist involved as well. I'm excited to hear, and I have no idea what it's going to be like, as I said, so perfect for a live review. For anyone that may not be familiar, a live review is me listening to the music for the first time whilst recording, kinda like a reaction video, but more about the review and response side of it. So I'm going to be stopping the track every now and then to give my thoughts while listening, and also coming to a couple of concluding thoughts at the end by answering some questions I've already written for myself. But here we go, Flux Pavilion, Feed Me, Survive, live review. Let's do it. God, how is this one gonna turn out? Okay, pretty, shiny. Interesting. Real focus on the, happy aspect of it. I haven't in a long time heard a vocal integrated into a drop like that. Quite interesting, quite a fresh way, quite a fresh approach when it comes to heaviness, as it were, which we don't really get here anyway. Or is this the actual drop? Okay. It's clear here that they've gone for the more chilled route, which they've both gone for individually, of course, over the years, and yeah, it's just a sign and an example of how they've both branched out beyond the heaviness that they became renowned for earlier on in their careers. But no, I mean, whilst I wouldn't say this kind of tune is distinctly for me, and not one that I get a lot out of in terms of the overall feel of it and kind of how quickly it goes from one section to another. I feel like there are points where it has to kind of just have a bit of a debrief moment and kind of regather and build up a bit more. I do like the happiness of it, and I do like the gleeful approach which is brought by the instrumental in combination with the vocal from Mish, I think she's called. Not one that I think I'm going to go back to in particular all that much, not to take away from what it provides as a chilled number and something that, again, is a showing of what they can both do beyond their heavy approaches. But yeah, as a tune in itself, it's just not one that's doing all that much for me, and basically it's an it is what it is kind of situation. There is a part of me that wants them to do something heavy, but when you think about how much they've both gone through musically over their careers and how much their sound has kind of matured, if you will, you can just imagine that there's a point, or it just comes to a point where you get a bit bored and you just kind of want to try new things out and make your sound maybe a bit more mainstream. And I respect it stylistically, and you know, whilst it may not be quite for me, I can appreciate that, you know, they've done heaviness by this point and they want to do different stuff. Beyond the notion of whether I like it or not in a kind of surface level way, I think there are things here that don't quite work. As I mentioned, how it just goes so quickly from one section to another, doesn't really have enough composure, I think, in the transitioning from one sequence to the next one, and every sequence just kind of rushes too quickly into the next, in my opinion. I think the vocal and instrumental work together very well, agreeing with each other, if you get me. But yeah, that fact of the sequences running too quickly from one to another does take away the enjoyment I have for it just a bit. Points as well where the percussion doesn't back up what's on top quite well enough. Not as important in a song that isn't bass-centric or heavy, but still important, and yeah, just a couple moments here and there where the delicacy of the tune kind of has to be ignored, and you do just have to say, yeah, it isn't quite fleshed out or rounded enough for what lays on top. But yeah, just a small point. Okay, as I said about a minute ago, carrying on. Warm bass surging through like that. It's a nice vocal, can't deny. Well, there we go. Just a little vocal and instrumental melody to kind of round it off. Yeah, I suppose there we go. Okay, just gonna give Survive one more listen through and then head over to the aforementioned questions. Bubblegum pop EDM kind of tune. Feels more and more, you know, as I listen again and again, like it's one that I'll get used to and enjoy more over time. The sections do kind of blend into one another, if you get me. Drawing in again to the final ending outro sequence. That bass is so decent. Slight Porter Robinson Worlds flavour to it as well, you know. Okay, there we go. Now to run through the aforementioned questions. First up, what were your favourite parts of the tune? I think for me, the vocal from Mish is lovely and sweet. Really like how much of a part she plays in the tune overall. And I also like the way that the feeling is maintained throughout here. Very pretty, sparkly, twinkly. Glacial even, I would say, and yeah, I just enjoy how it never lets up on that front. Also really like the way that the midsection kind of rebuilds the tune about 2/3 of the way through. Could have happened a bit earlier, but yeah, beggars can't be choosers, so yeah, those were the things I would say I enjoyed about it most. Next up, what were your least favourite parts of the tune? And for me, ideas-wise, I think having listened again that second time, I do find it quite ordinary and plain on the ideas front. The sections as well kind of blur into one another, I feel, and it could be termed as unique that way, you know, having the vocal play such a big part in the introduction and then in the drop, if you were to call it that as well. But for me, just comes off a little bit messy in the transitioning there. Doesn't feel like it has a proper direction to it either, and points where the percussion doesn't support what's on top all that well. So decent amount I'm not big on here. And finally, what do you make of the tune overall? I mean, if you're expecting something even remotely heavy, then you're not going to get it. But a pleasant showing here of what their sounds have become and how they've developed, and also how they can work together. Even though for me, I don't think it's massively clear where each of their styles play a part here and where they mix and mesh and blend and whatnot. Not a tune I'll go back to a lot. I don't think ideas-wise doesn't do all that much for me. But for people that want to hear something like this, you know, euphoric and future bassy kind of, you know, that kind of feel, then it will do a job. And the people that like that kind of music will appreciate it. But for me, whatever the genre it was going to be, I think they could have done better than what they've done here. But there we have it, my initial thoughts and reaction to the new tune from Flux Pavilion and Feed Me Survive. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. But what did you guys make of Survive? A good collab in your eyes? Favourite moments? Or anything you would change about it yourself? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video to the channel, and my social media accounts are linked below. And if you want to find some other live reviews on the channel, I will link them right here. But beyond that, if it's naughty, then you know, keep it naughty, and I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.